أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسوله النبي الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum and thank you very much for everybody joining us today here for the session specifically on CPFAS examination. This session is brought to you by Taif Digital Institute in collaboration with IUFI. And we greatly thank Brother Mughees Shaukat and Muhammad Shaf for joining the session today. Just a brief introduction. Mughees Shaukat is a global Islamic finance strategist, policy advisor, and senior manager at IUFI in Bahrain, with a fintech specialization from MIT, USA, and has been a pioneer head of Islamic finance CPFAS, transforming into a globally entity and entire, earning the GFA award. MashaAllah, thank you very much, Brother Mughees, for joining the session. And I welcome you to for the opening remarks to start the session.
Thank you very much, dear brother. Assalamu alaikum to all of you, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining this very, very important session that Taif has arranged. Taif always keeps on setting the trend, and my affiliation and my respect for Taif keeps on increasing. So congratulations again for the team of Taif to hold such an important introductory session meant for those folks who want to endeavor in getting qualified in this very important certification of proficiency called the CPFAS, the Certificate of Proficiency in Financial and Accounting Standards by AAOIFI. Very important, these certificates, these knowledge enhancement campaigns that AAOIFI does for human development and for capacity creation among the Islamic finance stakeholders, is this itself is a very, very important part of this whole campaign, the whole endeavor that AAOIFI does to ensure that the right skill set is always provided to the market of, in different segments and different scopes and scale, so that the development, the core development of Islamic finance is never shied back. And I'm very happy that I'm invited in this session to share my perspective of what CPFAS is and what basically, why basically you should do it. Remember, CPFAS, it covers an area of Islamic finance that is technical, extremely important, but less covered in a very focused manner. When you talk about the sub-segment of Islamic financial system that's called Islamic accounting, it is a subsystem or a subsector of Islamic finance education or the Islamic finance sector that is always there. It is so tightly linked to all the other core functions of Islamic finance, because whatever core functions or even non-core functions and operations that you do or commit to do in Islamic finance, you have to account for them. And of course, accountancy is a very, very, core notion of Islam itself, because whatever you do, you end up being accountable for it. And of course, this is the whole philosophy comes from there. This is not the time and place to discuss the depth of that. But what I'm trying to do is, through this program, AAOIFI is trying to always address that core area of Islamic finance that to us is so important, but yet so underserved in a focused manner. Even if you Google material or even books or papers, research papers, or even programs or workshops even that are core on and totally based on Islamic accounting or financial reporting, it'll be so minuscule. Not only minuscule, but the extent of their coverage, the quality would also be, would end up leaving a lot to be desired. So AAOIFI, being the body and the mandate that it carries, has always focused itself to cover and give the justified mileage to this core discipline of Islamic finance called Islamic accounting. And to do so, there are a number of fellowship programs. One of them, which is among the latest repertoire of fellowship programs that cover the basis of this very, very important area of Islamic finance, is the CPFAS. Folks would also know that there is another bigger program that's called CIPA, the Certified Islamic Professional Accountant Program. CPFAS is, I won't want to say it's a truncated version of CIPA, but it gives those people who find it relatively harder or longer, or who find another stepping stone to move to CIPA and qualify CIPA in a much more grander and much more easier fashion. What AAOIFI did was that AAOIFI, one of the objectives of creating CPFAS was to allow a quicker understanding, a sharper understanding, a smarter understanding about the financial accounting standards of AAOIFI that would eventually also make it easier for people who have attempted and qualified CPFAS to then attempt CIPA and then find it much more interesting and much more easier to do. So you can also say that while it's a standalone program in itself, it links itself, automatically to the upgraded program. We call it CIPA. Now, why CPFAS? Basically, I'm going to very smartly put it, because my brother Muhammad Shaf has a full-on presentation to share with you on not only what CPFAS is, but how to smartly study CPFAS in a focused manner that increases your chances to passing the program. Now, CPFAS, remember P is the Certificate of Proficiency. After this certificate, you will be labeled as a proficient expert or proficient individual who has enough knowledge of financial accounting standards of AAOIFI that qualifies him to be in a decent shape to talk about, at least, if not practice, the financial accounting standards of AAOIFI. CPFAS is an advanced level certificate program designed for Islamic finance accountancy professionals who wish to develop correct understanding, interpretation, and implementation skills in the requirements of AAOIFI financial accounting standards. When I say AAOIFI financial accounting standards, people who don't know much about AAOIFI accounting standards or even AAOIFI standards at all, in general, over 162 member institutions of AAOIFI in over 200 global countries. In total, there are 200 something countries in the world. 162 are the member of AAOIFI. 119 are active standards and technical pronouncements of AAOIFI. And guess what? More than half of these 162 either fully adopt AAOIFI standards when they attempt to do Islamic finance, they refer to, or they partially adopt, some adopt accounting standards, some adopt only Shari'ah standards and moving forward to adoption full standards, or as a minimum they refer to. So more than half of the 162 countries are in consonance, in relevance, in following of AAOIFI standards. This is the importance of AAOIFI standards, be it Sharia, auditing, accounting, or even accounting standards, or other sort of standards too. So it's very, very important that when you become qualified through these fellowship programs, be it CPFAS, this is the luxury that you end up having, and that automatically enhances your career projection. The certificate places greater emphasis on the development of technical and practical knowledge and skills in the implication of financial accounting standards at the Islamic financial institutions and for Islamic financial transaction, that is CPFAS. Now, CPFAS, folks, provides not only powerful learning content, but an excellent career enhancing opportunities too. Now, what are the powerful learning contents? While my brother Muhammad Shaf will delineate further on this, let me crisply put at least three of them. Number one, the program is based on AAOIFI standards, and I've told you the power of AAOIFI standards to dictate and rule Islamic financial practices all over the world, which are a result of industry founders and practitioners' knowledge, experience, and wisdom. So these standards are no joke, guys. The certificate focuses on developing the candidate's understanding, interpretation, and implementation skills regarding FAS requirements. When I say FAS, it means financial accounting standards. Moreover, candidates will develop expertise in implementing a FAS at Islamic financial institutions for Islamic financial transactions. These are the main core outcomes. Brother Muhammad Shaf will share it further in a much more detailed manner. What are the career opportunities? You straight away, when you qualify any AAOIFI fellowship program, be it CPFAS that was launched back in 2022, and it's very successful ever since. And I've told you this is one stepping stone towards qualifying a much more upgraded fellowship program, the CIPA. Now, straight away, you become a relevant potential Islamic finance employee or personnel or an expert in over 60 countries that are following AAOIFI standards in some shape or form. So straight away, when you qualify any AAOIFI fellowship program, be it CIPA, CSA, CSE, CPFAS, or in another minute, I'll talk about the CPSS, the Certificate of Proficiency in Shari'ah Standards. That's a new program as well. You straight away become a relevant entity, an in-demand entity in over 60 countries that follow Islamic finance and hence AAOIFI. So this is a straight away big career enhancing opportunity that it gives. Now CPFAS is backed by AAOIFI. Of course, this is where the whole brand value comes in. Globally, regulators, Islamic financial institution, professional accounting organization, training centers recognize CPFAS. This is where your promise in becoming an expert and be in demand in over 60 odd countries in Islamic finance, be it Arab speaking or non-Arab speaking countries, become that much more enhanced and important. There are over 28 standards that the CPFAS cover. It only has one exam. This is the reasons why you should do this, because it increases not only your hikmah, it's your skill level about accounting standards, but your career opportunities too. These are very core. I don't want to go into too much detail because Muhammad Shaf will explain it further to you. The exam fee, guys, we have really made it subsidized. It's $750 for such value on offer, such expertise on offer. All of a sudden, even if you have no background or half a background in Islamic finance, you qualify such programs, that too from AAOIFI, that too are applicable and accepted in over 60 countries. Man, oh man, I mean, that gives you a huge launching pad in Islamic financial arena. 750 is the exam fee that includes your registration, your exam fee, and the material that you need to focus on. While Muhammad Shaf will tell you how to study, guess what? I mean, if you're an individual person attempting to self-study, a 250 hours is good enough to pass this one module of examination. We have all over the world plus 65 plus exam centers that allow you to take this exam online. We do also provide some discounts based on which country you're coming on, based on the GDP per capita and based on other idiosyncratic reasons. Discounts can go up to start from 15%, go up to 30%, even 50% in some cases of the total 750. If you do end up passing CPFAS and it gives you a lot of encouragement and excitement and you try and become an improved entity, even if you're trying to begin your career in Islamic finance or you're already into Islamic finance practitioner or an academician, post this program, once you qualify, it allows your promotion chances, it allows your career enhancement chances. If you're a manager, you may end up becoming a senior manager. Who knows, you may end up becoming a CFO as well. Also, the other advantage is, guys, that it gives you a huge powerful exemption opportunity if you do end up going to the CIPA program, that is a much more advanced program. Again, similar level of advanced career opportunities are available if you end up qualifying CIPA as well. It gives you an exemption of the most important module of the CIPA. It exempts the financial accounting and reporting module, which is a huge chunk of the CIPA exam if you are a CPFAS qualified individual. Now, what are the benefits if you become a CPFAS? The benefits that I've told you are amazing benefits, but what are the secondary and tertiary benefits? Once you qualify as CPFAS and you become a CPFAS qualified individual, apart from other major benefits, some other supportive benefits are that your name is published in the AAOIFI website as an AAOIFI fellow under CPFAS. Complimentary seats are given to, and discounted seats. Like, so if I'm a CPFAS and I tell that this is my CPFAS candidate number and I'm a CPFAS individual, so you get number of discounts, number of free seats and other AAOIFI initiatives, be it workshops, seminar, conferences, physical workshops and whatnot. So priority dealing is given to you and free online access to AAOIFI standards and other AAOIFI relevant material. Let me tell you that we are coming up with soon with a huge e-learning AAOIFI platform where everything would be digitized. So you as AAOIFI fellows, be it CPFAS, will have access on priority basis on that. Now, this is very crisply what we put for CPFAS, and I'm sure Muhammad Shaf will give you more details, even how to smartly study to pass CPFAS programs. There is another program that is of equal relevance for those people who are into Sharia underpinnings of Islamic finance. We call it the Certificate of Proficiency in Shari'ah Standards. Over here, it was CPFAS, the Certificate of Proficiency in Financial and Accounting Standard. That over there is a similar program dealing only with the Sharia part of it. That's the CPSS, the Certificate of Proficiency in Sharia Standards. That, guys, is launching. It's already launched. In a week's time, you will hear all the announcement about that. The first intake for that exam is late March 2023, and will have minimum 4 intakes. The CPFAS and CPSS will be jointly taking intakes. Minimum 3 to 4 intakes would be there every year, inshallah ta'ala. This again, CPSS carries the same cadre, the same value, the same luxuries on offer, career wise, knowledge wise, skill development wise. This over here relates to CPFAS, that over here relates to the Sharia part of it. And both CPFAS or CPSS, if you qualify them, you get not only exemptions for the other upgraded fellowship programs that follow suit, that is the CSA, the Certified Sharia Auditor, or the Certified Sharia Expert in case of CPSS, and in case of CPFAS, it's the CIPA, the CIPA exam. Please also note, although this session is not meant for CPSS, but I would request Taif to also do a similar session very, very soon on CPSS, given the launch that is already there and the nearness of the exam, that's March end 2024. CPSS, guys, is going to replace the old CSAA. There was CSAA. Yes, somebody has asked if CPSS is in English. Yes, it is. It's in English and Arabic as well. As a matter of fact, CPSS is also in Bengali language, also available in Russian language and one other language too. So CPSS is in multiple languages as we speak, available. You can pick and choose the language. CPFAS right now is only offered in English. Work at the back end is being done to also launch it in Arabic too. But right now, CPFAS is only available in English. CPSS is in multiple languages, guys. Now, please note, this is a very, very important part that I'm telling you with regards to CPSS. Although when we do a detailed workshop on CPSS, Taif, let's plan it ASAP. I'll tell you more details. But please note that CSAA, the old Certified Sharia Advisor and Auditor Certificate, is now replaced by CPSS. CPSS replaces CSAA. And there are 2 other new programs, fellowship programs that we have created. It's the CSA and CSE, Certified Sharia Advisor and Certified Sharia Expert. Not advisor, auditor. Certified Sharia Auditor and Certified Sharia Expert. So CSAA is replaced by CPSS. It is not replaced by CSA or CSE. CSAA is replaced by CPSS. CSA and CSE are totally 2 new fellowship programs to enhance the focus and development of Sharia in terms of auditory and expertise wise as well. If you qualify CPSS, then of course you do get some exemptions in CSA and CSE. Like if you qualify CPFAS, you do end up getting a huge exemption of the FAR module. That's the most difficult module in the CIPA program. So guys, this is me submitting some basic information regarding CPFAS. I'm sure Muhammad Shaf will share more details. Over to you, my dear brother Muhammad Shaf.
Thank you, Brother Mughees. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. First of all, I would like to thank Allah who gave me opportunity to guide the Muslim Ummah for a good cause. After that, I would appreciate Taif team for organizing this wonderful session on CPFAS, means Certificate of Proficiency in Financial Accounting Standards. In this session, this is the second session by Taif team on CPFAS with a specific focus on tools and technique to pass CPFAS exam. You may refer the first session for CPA and CPFAS differences for other details regarding eligibility criteria, registration, and fee related details, which is available on CPA Type Digital team. In this session, we will discuss the benefits of CPFAS certificate benefits, curriculum of CPFAS, exam details, core accounting principles of IOFI accounting standards, and tools and techniques to pass CPFAS exam. In the end, we will practice some question by application of some of the techniques. Let's start with first section of the presentation, which is CPFAS certificate benefits. From education perspective, as Brother Mughees discussed, CPFAS certificate gives you exemption of CPFAS module, and from practical perspective, IOFI standards are adopted by a number of regulatory jurisdictions and number of countries in different levels. Some fully adopt IOFI, some of the countries, some partially adopt, and some take guidance from the IOFI standards. You can see in this slide, there are 48 countries and 55 regulatory jurisdictions which adopted accounting standards of IOFI. These are the countries and regulatory jurisdictions which fully adopted IOFI standards. And now come towards the second part of our presentation, which is curriculum of CPFAS. And the syllabus of CPFAS is dynamic in nature, which means that number of accounting standards are not fixed for the CPFAS exam. All the standards which are currently effective or will be effective within 8 months of the exam date will be part of the CPFAS syllabus. Furthermore, the CPFAS syllabus is divided into 3 parts: conceptual framework, core standards, supplemental standards. For part A and part B, you need to have a conceptual and practical understanding of the rationale, requirement, and basis of conclusion. Let me show you one IOFI accounting standard on Murabaha to understand what is mean by rationale, requirement, and basis of conclusion. Can you see this IOFI standard 28?
Yes, we can see that.
Yes. And this is a FAST 28 on Murabaha and other deferred payment sales. You can see that in the start of the standard, it is mentioned that you have to read this standard in the context of its objective conceptual framework for financial reporting as endorsed by IOFI and in line with the Sharia principles defined in the relevant IOFI accounting standards, relevant Sharia standards of IOFI. All of these things gives you understanding of the rationale of the standard. After that, we have original text of the standards, which provides you the information on the accounting requirement of IOFI. After end of the standard, we have a section on, we have appendix B on basis of conclusion, which provides you the understanding, the rationale behind the accounting treatment. Sometimes it provides you the Sharia basis for accounting treatment to understand more comprehensively why IOFI adopted a specific accounting treatment for accounting purpose. Now move towards our presentation. For part A and part B, you need to understand each and everything of the standard. Rationale, requirement, and basis of conclusion. For part C, you only need to have a basic understanding from exam perspective to pass CPFAS exam. In part A, we have a conceptual framework which is assigned a weightage of 10%. It means that in CPFAS exam, around 10 questions in the exam will be based on the IOFI conceptual framework for financial reporting. This weightage is assigned based on the market importance, relevance, and practicality of the standard. Similarly, we have in part B around 19 standards of FAS, and each standard is assigned a weightage, and you will be examined accordingly in the exam. In section C, we also have different around 8 standards, and each standard is assigned a different weightage. Now come towards the third part of our presentation, which is CPFAS exam details. This is the one paper 3-hour exam, which is based on 100 MCQs, and passing percentage is 60 to 70%. This is the most important section of our presentation, core accounting principles of IOFI. As you all know that riba, gharar, qimar, invalid sale, derivatives and future and forward contracts, combination of two contracts in one contract, short selling, sale of debt, unethical businesses. All of these are no-go areas for Islamic financial institution. However, Islamic financial institution can enter into a sale contract, rent agreement, partnership agreement, agency agreement for their business activities. This slide presents how IOFI accounting principles are derived from the Sharia rules and principles. Number one, timing of recognition of revenue. Sharia has defined rules and principles to execute the sale transaction. As per the Sharia, sale is concluded on the transfer of risk and reward. Therefore, from accounting perspective, we cannot recognize revenue until and unless we have a transfer of control between transfer of risk and reward. Similarly, as per the Sharia principles, combination of two contracts in one contract is not allowed. Two different contracts must be executed separately and they must be independent with each other. Therefore, in accounting, we have to record two contracts differently and separately. As you know that sale of debt is not allowed as per the Sharia rules and principles. However, we may transfer the debt at par value. Therefore, from accounting perspective, we have to record debt only on par value without any discounting. Quasi-equity is liability side element of the balance sheet, which have some characteristics of liability, some characteristics of equity, and some unique characteristics. It represents investment account holders. I will show the definition of quasi-equity. I have mentioned in the next slide. Yes, this is. All the participants are required to read this definition of quasi-equity and understand this, and we will discuss it later once you read. Take a minute for this. Anyone can define the definition of quasi-equity from the participants?
You can raise hands if somebody wants to say something with regards to the question.
Let me define, I think. Okay. Hussein Ahmed. Yes, you can talk. Brother Hassan, allow Hussein Ahmed to talk.
Yeah, Brother Shaf is allowed to talk. I think he lowered the hand. Brother Hussein Ahmad is allowed to talk. Brother Hussein, you can unmute and speak.
Let me define to go forward. Quasi-equity is an element of financial statement which represents participatory contributions based on the profit and loss sharing. It has primarily characteristics of equity because the institution is not liable to return the loss fund in case of loss, and the investors has a residual interest in the underlying assets or business. It has some characteristics of liability because investors can withdraw their funds at their discretion. And it has some specific features because the investment account holders don't have voting rights as compared to the shareholders. Now come back to our sequence of the presentation. Now, how our IOFI accounting framework is different from the IFRS. IFRS accounting is based on the time value of money. On the other hand, IOFI accounting framework does not accept time value of money concept because of the reason that money is a medium of exchange, not a commodity. Therefore, we cannot trade money against profit or rent. IFRS accounting is based on the substance over form concept, and IOFI accounting framework recognizes both substance as well as the form of the transaction. Therefore, substance and form both have the legal and equal importance. Under IFRS accounting treatment, investment accounts are treated as liability, and IOFI accounting framework treats investment accounts as quasi-equity. IFRS standards are issued to standardize the accounting and financial reporting practices globally. And IOFI standards are issued because IFRS cannot portray the true essence of Islamic finance transactions. There is no requirement under IFRS for Sharia compliance and additional disclosure for Sharia conscious users. However, there is a separate accounting treatment and classification requirement for Sharia compliance requirement in IOFI accounting framework, and sometimes IOFI accounting framework requires additional disclosure to satisfy the needs of the Sharia conscious users. And this chart is the development approach of IOFI standards. IOFI accept the international standards which are consistent with the Sharia rules and principles, and IOFI rejects standards which are contrary to the Sharia rules and principles, and they have developed their own standards. Now, this is the fifth part of our presentation, which is based on the tools and tricks to pass the CPFAS exam. You have to study the course material of CPFAS in the context of the conceptual framework, as we have showed you the Murabaha accounting standard, and in line with the relevant Sharia rules and principles. Second tip is that you have to understand the accounting content, Sharia standard content. You have to understand the content of the financial accounting standards with the examples. For example, control definition identifies whether asset is an off-balance sheet item or on-balance sheet item for Islamic financial institutions. All the participants are required to read and understand control and off-balance sheet assets under management definition. We will discuss later in the context of the example. Anyone can define this control definition from the perspective of investment accounts of Islamic banks? You may raise hand. Hassan Usmani. Yes. You can talk, Hassan.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. And thank you very much for this facilitation. The investment account of an Islamic bank, unlike that of a conventional, is like what you have defined, like a quasi-equity holder in the bank. So he shares in profit and loss of the bank. Of course, they don't have ownership like shareholders. They only entrust their capital to the bank in the hope that it will be managed and profit will be shared and loss will be avoided. But they don't have the day-to-day control of the bank, unlike equity the real equity holders who have ownership control, board control, and therefore manage the institution. I don't know if that's what you are referring to.
I just want to ask from the control perspective, whether Islamic banks control investment account holders' investment or not. In line with the two conditions, the number one condition is that the institution is directly exposed to the variable returns, and the second condition is the institution has the ability to affect those returns. Let me explain what is mean by control. Control identifies whether Islamic financial institution has to record an asset on its balance sheet or the asset is off balance sheet item for Islamic financial institution. On balance sheet item or off balance sheet item, we have to bifurcate between them by this definition. For example, there are two types of investment accounts. Mudarba based investment accounts. Let's take an example. There are restricted investment accounts. There are unrestricted investment accounts. The control is there for unrestricted investment accounts for Islamic banks because they are directly exposed by the management of these accounts to the variable returns, and they have an ability to affect those returns by its powers. But when we apply this definition to the unrestricted investment accounts, the Islamic banks do not have complete ability to affect those returns through its power over assets and business. Therefore, we have to record unrestricted investment accounts on balance sheet as an on balance sheet item for Islamic financial institutions, and restricted investment accounts are off balance sheet items for Islamic financial institution, as they have a fiduciary responsibility but not control over restricted investment accounts. After that, we have another tip, which is you have to make product structure in mind when you study CPFAS course material. Anyone can explain the murabaha step-by-step process of the murabaha transaction which is executed by the Islamic banks? It may solve many questions in the exam once you study from the perspective of the exam. You have to make structures, product structures, and transaction structures in mind. In Islamic banks, normally murabaha transaction is executed in a way that Islamic banks purchase the asset from the market, record inventory, and after transfer of risk and reward, sells the asset to the customer with complete disclosure of profit and cost. This is the simple process of murabaha transaction. You have to study from the perspective of the process flow. There may be questions in the exam which may ask you to provide the proper sequence of the transaction and accounting based on the sequence of the transaction. You have to memorize the content of the CPFAS labels. For example, AAOIFI accounting standards have defined Sharia rules and principles in a hierarchy form. First of all, it means that Sharia principle mean Sharia standards issued by AAOIFI. Secondly, it means that a regulatory Sharia compliance requirement. In the third stage, it means that central bank Sharia board rulings. In the fourth stage, it means that financial accounting standards Sharia requirements. And in the last, it means that Sharia rules and principles are respective institutions Sharia board guidelines. We have already discussed that basis of conclusion of the standards provides you deep understanding and rationale behind the accounting treatment. And we already discussed the definition of quasi-equity. You should have the basic understanding of the accounting principles and debit credit to pass the CPFAS exam. You may use the internet to understand the accounting terminologies because IFRS and IOFI accounting are close with each other. Same terms are used in the both of the accounting frameworks. After understanding, reading, and completion of your course material of CPFAS, You have to practice the mock exams to evaluate yourself whether you can pass the CPFAS exam in actual or not. Time management is very important to pass the exam, as the CPFAS paper is based on the 100 MCQs, and you have only dedicated time of 3 hours for the exam, which means that maximum time is 1.8 minutes for each question. But you have, for the safe side, you have to solve each question within 1.5 minutes to have some times in the end of the exam to conclude the exam and revisit your answers. But there may be very difficult questions in the exam, which is calculation based, scenario based, case studies. Therefore, you have to apply some techniques. Number one technique is process of elimination. You eliminate wrong answer choices and select the best options in which. And after, you may apply a flag option to revisit your answer once you have selected one option in the exam. You may use rough paper technique. There may be questions with multiple correct answer choices. You may select once you read in the first time to save your time. And you should understand the question very carefully and do not overlook the word not to address the question correctly. These are some practice questions all the participants are requested to solve, and we will discuss. We have already discussed the definition of quasi-equity, and the tip is there is to memorization and use of word not. Which of the following two are not characteristics of quasi-equity as defined in conceptual framework? Number one, certain characteristics of liability, which is maturity or put option, represents residual interest in the assets of institute. Number three, primary characteristics of equity. Number four, a non-interest bearing loan that allows borrower to use the loan that would be repaid at the end of the period. Now we have choices of the answers. 1 and 4 both are correct. 3 and 1 both are correct. Number C, point C is 2 and 3 both are correct, and D is only 4 is correct. D is the correct answer for this question, because we have discussed that quasi-equity have some characteristics of liability, some characteristics of equity, and it represents the residual interest in the assets of the institute. But there is a tip that the question asks which is not the characteristic. Therefore, the correct answer is fourth one, which is D, option D. Let me move forward to the next question. Kindly solve this question. There is a tip here to use the process of elimination technique and use rough paper to select all the correct answer choices and select your answer.
Brother Shaf, just out of the question, I wanted to ask that this tip that is coming next to the question, is it the way you are presenting, right? It's not like it will come into the exam.
No, that tick is for your understanding purpose. You have to use your own tips and tools to solve the paper. There is no tip in the exam. You have to solve by your own.
This is the way you are telling that these kind of questions can be solved by using
These tips.
options. All right, I understand.
You can save your time by using these tips. You can use rough paper to solve. There are 4 choices. Only 2 are correct. You have to select correct answer choices once you read first time, and it will save your time in the exam, because there is a very tough time in the exam. You have to solve long questions like this only in 1 minute or 1.5 minutes. Therefore, you can use tips to save your time.
A lot of people are interestingly answering the long question. Brother Hassan Usman also wants to say something. Brother Hassan, if you type your answer and then maybe you can ask, inshallah, Brother Shaf will explain what's the reason behind the answer. Okay, okay. So you want to take Brother Hassan also on the call, Brother Shah?
Yes, hello.
I chose D. I saw that item number 1 was like a trick, but item number 4 is straightforward, because when you have a restricted investment account and you have control over it, it means you can now put it on balance sheet. Similarly, the account has risk characteristics similar to on balance sheet investment, because again, the bank can only share the profit and a loss, which is similar to an unrestricted deposit. But I saw item 1 as a small trick, but for me, that I will choose D as the answer.
Brother Hassan, we will discuss the answer once the participant complete their.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. I thought I was. Everybody has done.
Thank you. Most of the participants are agree with the answer D. Let me discuss. We have already discussed that restricted investment accounts are off-balance sheet items for Islamic financial institutions. But when institutions has total control over restricted investment accounts, they may present it on balance sheet. Therefore, if the investment account holders, restricted investment account holders have same risk characteristics similar to the on-balance sheet investment accounts, and Islamic financial institution has the authority over decision making for deployment of the funds, then both of the 1 and 4 answers is as per our discussion. Therefore, the correct answer is D. Then and answer number 2 and 3 have no link with the discussion of the on balance sheet and off balance sheet item. Let me move forward for third question. As we already discussed, you should have transaction structure in mind. We studied that in Muraba transaction, firstly you purchase the asset and then sell the asset to the customer on with the profit. This is the tip you should take in mind, the structure of the Muraba transaction, and solve this question. And answer in the chat box. These are the choices of the answers. You have to select in line with the sequence of the Muraba transaction. Muhammad Hashir, can you explain your answer? Why you have selected answer C?
And the sequence, is that, we have to get the goods out of the store before we sell it. So that's why C is the answer.
Yes, of course, we have to purchase the asset and book inventory. After booking inventory, we have to convert in the cost and then sell the asset. Therefore, the correct answer is C. First sequence is inventory, then conversion of inventory in the cost, and then sale. This is the last question, and we will end this session by this question. Please attempt. Yes, brother Ahmed Khidir. Brother Ahmed Khidir, can you explain your answer? Yes, we have correct answer is A, because profit equalization reserve is related to the displaced commercial risk, because market risk is related to the price and credit risk is related to the financing in Islamic financial institution. Therefore, Islamic banks use profit equalization reserve to and eliminate the risk of the displaced commercial risk and provide their investors the market competitive returns. Here we have the this session down here. Thank you for joining us, and Brother Hassan, over to you. You may conclude the session here.
Oh, Brother Shaf, Jazakallah, and thank you very much for your time, giving up the opportunity to have a look. I think this is the first session that have been done on CPFAS as a training short module, how to prepare for CPA or CPFAS, and then you have given us some tips of clearing. So people who do not know Brother Shaf, I would just like to give that Brother Shaf is an Islamic finance expert and currently serving as a relationship manager at the corporate investment banking sector of leading Islamic bank in Pakistan. And he holds a master's in Islamic banking and finance as a gold medalist from the IBA Karachi, Pakistan. And with that, he have also done CSAA, and he's the first Pakistani who have done CPFAS in the first attempt. So I'm glad to have him with me today. And the way he have explained things, just simply 4 questions, but this is the first time people who have not done CPFAS before, exposure to what type of questions will come, how to attend them, and these are the things. So there are some questions, Brother Shaf, if you want, I think if you have time, can you take a look in the Q&A tab? We can quickly answer them. For the people, I'm just typing a link of Taif website that gives the IUF's detail updated. All the registrations are open for this session. The programs are available and what languages are they available, how much is the discount, what are the exemptions criteria. So all those options that you will see in the website, it will be available. How do we get the certificate in CPFAS? Is very simple. Basically, you go to the website, you go to the CPFAS tab, click the complete details, and you read everything will be there. The fee that is mentioned is 750 USD, but when you apply through Taif or other platforms, you will get a discount, and that is decided based on your form filling criteria. So from which country are you giving exam from? What is your background and stuff? So after seeing it, we will let you know. Uh, can someone granted CPA fellow having CSAA CPFAS and meet up with the exemption criteria of AE and BRE? Brother, again, this is written in the rules and regulations. I am typing this for you. You can look into the exemption criteria. If you strictly follow those criteria, so you can see that. Apart from that, are there any preparation material for the English CPSS exam starting in March? CPSS have just started in March. People have already registered for it, and I'm very surprised because the IUFI have not published the program detail at the moment, what is covered in it. But people maybe who are really confident in Shari'ah standards, they are confidently applying that they can pass, or if they have previously prepared for CSAA, like that, as Brother Mughees says that. So following week, inshallah, he said that we'll be receiving the details, so it will be uploaded on the website, and you will be able to look into them of CPSS, and perhaps you can apply, inshallah. So this session, we are concluding here. One more time, I give the link to you, taiflearning.com/IUFI. And if there is no other thing available that you would like to know, you can email us at contact@taiflearning.com.